All right, we're in law of cosines. So we're going to solve triangles now, non-right triangles, using law of cosines. You use law of cosines when you are presented with a side, 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 or a side angle side situation. So some of you are hearing me, and if it's taking till now, I want you to hear me. Identifying the side relationship is the key to this unit. Because even on Friday, people were asking me on that angle side question you had, they were asking how to find the second triangle. You don't find any second triangle on any angle side. So the point being, if you end up with side, 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 or side, angle, side, don't use the law of sines on it because it won't work. You won't have enough information. You'll eventually get there, but it'll waste time. All right. So side, 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 angle, side is law of cosines. Identify it and march on forward. With all four of these, you don't have to worry. The side, 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 side angle, the ones I've got boxed, you don't have to worry. You won't be lied to. The only time you'll be lied to is angle, side, side. Okay, so we're going to march on through. So what is the law of cosines? Okay, here it is. It's on your formula sheet, but I'll explain what you're going to be looking at. So this says, all right, we all can see the letters. Give you time to write it down. I see a lot of people writing it. So you've got a squared is equal to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine a. Well, that's nonsense. Who's gonna memorize that if they don't understand what's going on? What it says is lowercase a. So that could be any side that you want. The triangle doesn't even have to be named. Once you do an application problem where you're crossing a river, it doesn't have to be named. So the side you're looking for is going to, the side you're looking for squared will be equal to the sum of the other two sides squared. So that's using third grade language, right? So we're adding together the squares of the other two sides. And then we're going to subtract away from that the product of 2 times the sides times the cosine of the included angle. And why did I say included angle? Because remember I said side, angle, side. It's your angle sandwich situation that we talk about. And you recognize that because you'll end up with 3 letters. And I'll show you in the problem. You'll see 3 letters. But if you're in doubt, you should draw it out. But so my included angle here, in this case, that's angle A right there. We're trying to find this A right here. And we've been given this B and this C. That's what so we've got a side as a slice of bread. There's a side, there's a slice of bread, and there's the filling right there, the angle A. So when your angle sandwich, your side, angle, side, use the law of cosines. Now, there's a rearrangement of the top formula. So there's a rearrangement of this that generates this. So all it is me manipulating it, and individually at your desk, we can move it around if you can't figure it out. You have it on your formula sheet. So this means if I want to find the angle, well, then what do I have? I have the sum of the other side squared minus the side opposite. Here, look at this. I've got the A here, underlining it. A. It's going to be subtract away the side opposite the angle you're given, squared, all over the product of 2 times the sides of the included angle. Even if you had to memorize it, it'd take 10 minutes or 3 times. You'd be no big deal. But for now, that's all we'll have. So now, let's go in and do a couple of problems. And I'll come back to this, or actually what I'll do is during our practice problem, I'll give you a formula sheet and let you use it. So I'm going to write down a practice problem. So you will be given, let's see, B is equal to 74 degrees. A is equal to 22, and C is equal to 24. So you can see, I know this is a side angle side, and the way I know it's a side angle side is I see all three letters. I see one angle and two sides, and those sides are lowercase, or they have a linear unit measurement, right? So I can see that. Now, if you couldn't see that, draw it out, right? So there's no way you could mess it up, because let's say Jay Sean puts his 74 there. David puts his 74 up here, and Caleb puts his right here. Well, in that case, right, and say one other person, let's say one other person puts their 74 right here. Okay, so in that case, this person puts their A there, and this person puts their C there. And what I'm doing here is telling you there is no way to mess it up. You can't mess this up. So there's an A, there's a C, there's an A, there's a C, here an A and a C. So that makes this an A and a C, and there's an A and we call this a C again. So there's C and A. Look, in this one, you've got side, angle, side, side, and side, because we've been given the side C and A. You got side, angle, side, and these people that did it the same way, but they picked the different angles, you've still got side, angle, side. You can't mess it up. But once again, the way you could tell is you're given the three letters, right? So the big part is identifying it so you know what formula to use versus law cosines versus law sines. So now, if I said B is 74, A is 22, and C is 24, then that means I want to find little side B. Since B squared is equal to this, since B squared is equal to all of that, then that must mean, this is my personal way of doing it. I just type it in the calculator in one stroke because you cannot mess up. If B squared is that, then I do the square root of the other two sides squared minus 2 times the product of those sides times the cosine of the included angle. So let's plug that in. A was 22. C was 24 minus 2 times 20 times 24 times the cosine of C. Yes. All right, so I'm going to go over here to the computer so you can see it and type it in. Computer's locked. All right, there we go. So actually, I've got it already in there from before, so I'll just point to it, right? So I just did B. B was equal to, B squared is equal to that, so I just square rooted the whole thing, right? And you can't mess it up because PEMDAS says, all right, squaring is going to come before subtraction, multiplication is going to come before, so you just can't mess up, right? So just plug it in. So 22 squared plus 24 squared and all that. Then that gets you 27.730. That's your rounded answer, 27.730. So don't pay attention to this below this right now. That's just the answer to that. Right? Then we'll go to back to the screen on the Surface on my little tablet. So that would be here. So then, like a quick diagram to keep track of what's happened. So we just found this, which, what did I say it was? 27 point what? 730. Now, something to pay attention to. is size of angle, right? So that's since the other sides are 22 and 24, what does that say about 74? Is that going to be the biggest angle, the middle size angle, or the smallest angle? The other sides, A and C, that were given to me were 22 and 24. That's going to be the biggest angle because we just found the side that's the biggest, so it must be opposite the biggest angle. All right, so this is going to be an acute triangle. I will have you name that sometimes. I'll say, what is this type of triangle? Acute and obtuse, because it's important in your understanding. So now, if we found that, all we need to do is find these angles. It's up to you which one you find. My suggestion, the way I do it, is I use law of cosines first, and then I use law of sines. If you would like to use law of cosines again, it's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, to me, it takes a bit longer, but no big deal. So I'm going to go and find angle. Let's see what I did over here. So that must have meant I found angle C. So I'm going to go ahead and find angle C. So the sine of C over, what did I say, 24? Yep, sine of C over 24 is equal to the sine of A, which is 74, over what we just found, which was 27.730. Okay, and then obviously I'm going to multiply this up here and do all that business. Let's go to the other screen real quick and see what I've done, so you can type it in if you'd like to. So I just multiplied both sides by, I multiplied both sides up. I pushed that 24 up there. I'm multiplying the sine of 74 over my answer. The reason I use my answer and not the 27.730 is because I don't want it rounding too soon. Right? So I did that, and that spit out the answer of 0.832. But then, once again, I do inverse sine of my answer, and that spits out that. So really pretty simple. The only problem is, people say, oh, I'm doing law of cosines. They might do inverse cosine. Or the other thing people do is they put the sine of 74 under there. Just keep it straight and you'll be fine. Just keep thinking. You'll be fine. Yeah, that's it. Right? So why don't you do a practice one? I will give you, and then we'll get on to, it's not practice time yet, as in like fully open. Let's practice this one. Let's practice. '52, 2018. All right. Oh, I'm not on the right screen. Sorry. So there we go. Let's do, that's my fault. Sorry about that. All right. Do 52. That's a degrees. 20 inches and 18 inches, please. Solve that triangle. So that means you find all, oh, sorry. Yes, sir. Yes, actually, perfect. I'm going to give it to you right now. Right, some of these are different formula sheets. We'll find it. Law of cosines, law of cosines, law of cosines, law of cosines. You're down a person. Law of cosines, law of cosines, law of cosines. So you're going to need 2 angles. Oh, did I finish the problem up? My head's so off it today.
You didn't finish like the last side, but it's basically the same one.
Okay.
It's just one more angle you need.
Yes. And they do. The thing is, I didn't finish the second angle because all you have to do now, that's the point, my head's up. You only have to do 180 minus to get the third angle, right? You don't have to do law of sines again. That you could be a total waste of time, but okay, so go ahead and do that. Oh, we've still got time.
You don't need to change it. No, not at all.
Stick to the one. You're
just like this out. Yeah, I can't imagine. I like the way it handles so much faster. Then we want this. Yeah, I know. So I can never find this. When you with party. Yeah, it's like Alright, so yeah. Find the formula. Why is it so big? Balance the grapes. Yeah, it's going yes.
No, I started over there, but I didn't know it was going on.
Oh, I was yeah, neither did I.
I went to the bathroom, picked up button,
What?
and the phone like wouldn't start ringing.
How many times have they pushed it?
So then I ripped out that I ripped it down.
Now you know why. Like they're like, oh, she's burning through again.
Do they get like an alert like every?
I'm sure they
Every time.
Yeah, probably.
Well, I think you'd imagine that if you push it once, it goes until they dismiss it.
Yeah.
I would imagine. I don't know.
Wait, so what's this?
Right. I think that was right. Yeah, I think that's right. And keep going to find the other 2 things. This one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then do the square root, right? Yeah. Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
The side. That would be side.
Well, since you've got, look what you just found. This is your 1665. Now you do. Now you do. Since you've got this, you've got that. Now you have to find that and that. You have to use law signs to find the first one. Could be that one. And then once you've got 2 of them, you do 180 minus to find out.
Oh, did you already find A? The first one I did, I found side A.
Side A, yeah, and that's left numbers, right?
24 goes to C as 74 goes to B.
You're finding the second one here, so like somehow because you've got. Hang on. 57, right? 70, yes.
I just haven't done the other one.
Good, 57, 70-ish. Get it yet? Ooh, super slides. Now we're going to get a lesson. Yeah.
Are you doing all signs or what? 16.75. Do this one, and the answers will be the same thing as these. Right? You're going to do it because you're not going to be finished because I got stuff to pass through. Right? But like, the answer is going to be 7 points. B is going to be 7 points. And then C is going to be around 'Alright, so I'm not going to keep going through that. I checked most people. We got roughly, angle B was what? 70.159. Is that good? Bobbleheads? Yeah. Okay. Side C was how much? I mean, angle C. I'm so sorry. Angle C. 57.843, wasn't it? 843. Something like 57.84. Excellent. Okay. If you didn't get that and you want to talk to me about it afterwards, that's fine. Right. So we're going to do the other one because of I want to push on here. So now we're going to do. Given the side relationship. So we use the law of cosines in the two configurations: side angle side, side side side, side side side. Let's think about this for a second. I'm going to give you A equals 12 centimeters, B equals 14 centimeters, and C equals 18 centimeters. So the first question is, I'm going to write it because I want you to focus. How many obtuse angles is it permissible to have in a triangle? One. You can only have at most one. They could all be acute, right? But if you have one, if there is an obtuse, it can only be one. Here is conceptual. Does the law of sines lie sometimes? Yes, it does. It's a liar, pants on fire, right? Law of cosines. If you don't, you haven't got into this yet. Today's not the day to do it. Law of cosines does not lie. No, it doesn't. It won't lie to you. All right? But if you misuse them, you can get tricked. And this is what I'm saying. So if we've got a 12, a 14, and 18. 12, if we've got a 12, a 14, and an 18. Right? Let's just pretend I'll stand up there and do it, because I want to point to it. I want to see you. If what we're going to do, think about it, we're going to use the law of cosines, use the formula we've been given to find one of these angles, right? Let's just pretend, I'll tell you the right way first. The correct way is to use the law of cosines opposite the largest angle. Because if there is an obtuse angle, if there is an angle that's bigger than 90 degrees, what side would it be opposite? The largest side, the smallest side, or the middle side? It'd be opposite the largest. So if you use the law of cosines to find the angle opposite that,
If it is obtuse, the law of cosines will never lie, and it will tell it to you. All right? Because then what's going to happen is you'll get used to this. After you do law of cosines, you'll then do the law of sines. So let's go into a mistake. This is red. This is all wrong. This is wrong, right? This is a mistake. Someone does the law of cosines opposite 14, and then they do the law of sines opposite 18. Then they don't know if they're being lied to or not, and they'll do 180 minus, and the numbers, it won't add up. It won't. Well, it will add up unless you do it wrong. But you won't know that you've made a mistake. If all you have to do is find the angle opposite the largest side, right? Is that not too hard to remember? Angle opposite the largest side. That's all you have to do. Then you won't get lied to. Right? And then do law of cosines and 180 minus, and you'll be just fine. Okay? So let's do it and then finish the day up. All right. So let's go. So we know our formula. We will do on our sheet is going to be what side did I say 18 was? So angle C, 12 is what? 12 is A. So this is A, and that's B. So we're going to know that the cosine of C will be equal to 12 squared plus 14 squared minus 2 times 12 times 14. All divided by 2 times 12.
Would this be one of the ones where it matters whether, like, what the letters are? Like,
Oh, whoops. Nice. Well, no. Say that again. Minus A squared. Mine should be minus A squared. Sorry, I'm doing it. It should be minus 18 squared. Sorry.
like on this one, because it's a course where, like, that you find it, you're looking at, like, the larger side.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it matters what the letters are?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, all right. So what she's saying is, it's in this case, I make sure I have to use the cosine of C because it's opposite the largest side, which means if you didn't notice, I almost started writing the formula wrong there. You have to subtract your C squared in the formula. But you're going to have the formula sheet. I wasn't looking at it. I just do it. So now that should equal, I'm not even going to go to the other screen. I'm just going to do it. You do it too, and then just make sure you get the same number as me. Now this, you can make a mistake here. So be careful. You either put it into the pretty type numerator denominator, or just use parentheses carefully, right? Because you can actually make a mistake here. So I got cosine of C, I'm going to highlight it there, is 1 over 21. So that means, actually, what decimal is that in case you're doing it in decimals? That would be 0.047, 0.048. Right, but 1 over 21 is more accurate. Then I'm going to type inverse cosine of second answer. So I'm going to do inverse cosine of my answer. Say that one more time. Y inverse what? Anytime you want to find the angle, remember at the beginning of the trig unit, the secret to trig is knowing what's a side ratio, what's an angle. So we're going for the angle. We want the inverse cosine. Remember your geometry 1, cosine is SOHCAHTOA, cosine adjacent over hypotenuse. So now we know our cosine is 87.271. So then we're going to go, I'm going to let you do it and I'll check. But all you have to do now is use the law of sines on either of the other 2 remaining angles. And then you do 180 minus to find the last ones. All right? And I don't know if I've got the answers, but I don't have them anywhere. But we'll figure it out together. Okay? You got them already? What are the answers? So what's the next angle? Anyone? A would be. And what's B? 50.977. So there are your answers. You should get those. So having the answer does you no good. So you want to go in and I don't know why my pen's not working. All right. Please don't do that. Oh, I hope that video didn't crash. Actually, the video rotate the screen recording. It must not. So what did you say it was? 50 what? Okay, so there are other answers, and there's the answer we found, which was C, wasn't it? So make sure you get those, and then you're all good, and we're done for the day. If you are still struggling, talk to me, and I'll just tell you right now, if you are still wanting a little practice because you are not getting it, I would do problem number 13 on page 421. So if you needed extra help, if you wanted to do one more problem to practice and then come and bring me the work, number 13 on 421. If you got the answers straight away and you know what you're doing, you're all good for the day. Okay? All right. I'm going to stop this. Yes.